Peter, good morning. Getting ready for action. They're underway. The 116th U.S. Open, and it's kind of a different course this year than at Oakmont than it was at Chambers Bay. But it looks like we have the same competitors or the same group of people that probably got a chance to win.
Yeah, I think we talk about the big three. You talk about Spieth and McIlroy and Day. There's no question. There's so many great players. It's hard to pick one player, but we had some big rains overnight, and I think that's going to soften the greens, slow the golf course down, but it's also going to make the rough so much tougher. It's so thick and wet, and it's going to be difficult if you miss a fairway.
Jordan Spieth, of course, whatever tournament he's playing is a big story, and that includes this week at Oakmont. And I tend to think that what happened at the Masters is going to make him a better player the rest of this year and into the future. How do you feel about that?
No, I agree with you 100%. Every player that's played the tour certainly has played a major championship that's been in contention has a disaster. And unfortunately, Jordan had that disaster at the Masters when he made that quadruple bogey 7 at the 12th hole in the final round. But I think that's going to help him. I think that's going to make him realize that golf's a game that you can never overcome this game. You can never own this game. It's difficult. And I think with Spieth, he won the first tournament of the year, and he won at Colonial a couple of weeks ago. So his game is just fine. I think he's going to be in contention to defend this week.
And you've played in many a U.S. Open. What makes Oakmont so special this year?
Well, I think Oakmont, from the first tee to the 18th green, is probably the most difficult golf course I've ever played. The fairways are tight, and they're really difficult to hit. They bend left and right. The turn points are hard to put to, so a lot of times you don't need driver. But once you reach the fairway, getting it on the green is no guarantee. And once you get on the green, you do not want to have a downhill putt. The greens are so quick. You'd rather have a 20-footer uphill than a 5-footer downhill. So you've got to hit the ball in the fairway, first of all, but you've got to have a lot of strategy on your approaches to the greens.
How does that impact a big hitter like Dustin Johnson, who's come so close in the U.S. Open? You think he's got a chance?
Yeah, I do think Dustin has a chance. He's a great player. I think this is the year he's going to win a major. I'm not saying it's the U.S. Open. It could be any other a major we have, the British Open or maybe the PGA Championship. But he's a great player. There's no question. By the way, do you see where we are? We're in the Lexus Performance Drive Pavilion on the grounds at Oakmont. The weather's beautiful. We had big rains last night. We're supposed to get some rain this afternoon, but where I am right here is pretty dry. This is the best seat in the house.
You mentioned Lexus. Peter? What's more important, the drive, the car you drive, or the Lexus you drive, or the driver that's in your bag here at Oakmont?
Well, put it this way: Lexus has provided over 300 vehicles for the players to get to the first tee, and once they get to the first tee, they better have a really accurate driver in their bag. Whether they drive themselves to the course or not, I don't know. But you've got to be able to drive the ball in the fairway this week if you want to have a chance to win the U.S. Open.
Of course, the U.S. Open, we have another absence with Tiger Woods this week. And golf seems to be doing, on the professional level, seems to be doing pretty okay without him. We have a good group of young players, international group of players. It's really kind of wide open, but you have that group at the top who maybe can come out of the pack, maybe somebody that we haven't been talking about and you think can contend this week.
I think there's a lot of players that have a chance to win. I would love to see Phil Mickelson win. Phil Mickelson's finished second 6 times in the U.S. Open, and he needs a win here to complete the career Grand Slam. So my dark horse is Phil Mickelson, but right now it's really hard for me to go against 2 players, Jason Day and Rory McIlroy. Jason Day's the #1 player in the world. He's playing as well as anybody can from tee through the green. But McIlroy, who lost #1 position in the world, I think he's on a mission. I really think he wants to retain #1. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say I think McIlroy is going to win this week.
even though we've been talking about the top 4 or 5 golfers at the top of the of everybody's list of winning, maybe you can give me a name of one guy that maybe can come out of the pack a little bit and surprise and contend come Sunday.
Well, I don't think it would be a surprise to see somebody like Matt Kuchar win. He's one of the most consistent players in the game. I think former major champion Louis Oosthuizen, he's got the firepower and the consistency to play well. Brandon Grace from South Africa is another player. I really like Sergio Garcia from Spain. We know Sergio. We're familiar with his game. But I think that the guy to beat is Rory McIlroy. I think that he's on a mission to regain #1 in the world. I think he's going to win the tournament this week.